and I think that's the main focus of it. We got to play better there. We just got to up the game in that department if we're going to hope to run the ball.
A little mystifying you, considering that you've got quite a few vets on that line. You got a lot of experience running that ball.
Nothing's mystifying to me in this game. I mean, there's always something, and there's always something you got to go fix and figure out, and those type of things. So.
How did Petersen and Wari play at center?
Yeah, I thought that they were fine. Each had something here and there to kind of add to the woes, but overall they played well, and we're hoping they'll continue to progress.
Matt gonna be able to start this week?
We'll find out. The good thing is we have this press conference when I haven't talked to the trainers, so I can't sit up here and lie to you and tell you things that I don't know. So I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, and they meet with our trainers, and everybody does today, which is our day off, obviously, and so I don't know.
How did Potter get hurt? It didn't look like anything happened to him. Was it before that play?
No, it was on a punt return. It was on a punt return is when he got a helmet to the I can't remember, his stomach or something. Yeah.
Is Thomas out definitely? Can you leave him out for this? Or?
Thomas is week to week is the best way to say that. So we'll see what the trainers say tonight.
Same goes for most of those guys. We ran through the list of them. Billy and Tyrone and all those guys.
Yeah.
Most of them okay as far as.
We're hoping. Yeah, we think so.
How much does, and we've talked about this, a fullback and also your tight ends seem to be leaner and better pass catchers than maybe they were in the past, and maybe not the Derek Schumann kind of blocking. How much are those ancillary pieces playing a role in the run game?
Well, I think it all matters, and there's not too many Derek Schumans around,
Right.
but they've done a good job. But I think everybody's involved in having a hand in the pie, so to speak, of why it's not exactly how we'd like it.
Gave up 21 points in the second half. Comment on that.
Yeah, we would definitely like to play better in the second half, without question. And the energy wasn't the same as it was in the first half, and so some of that was, with some guys that haven't played a lot, which is a little bit understandable, but probably the other points were against guys that you'd hope that wouldn't happen against, and you give Tulsa credit as well. But again, they kept playing, kept fighting, got some things going, got a little momentum. And like we always say, college football's got a lot of momentum swings, and when it starts to go, you try to hold on and make a play. And so you'd hope that it could change a little bit, but it didn't. So.
You got some extended playing time for Joe out there. What would you think of what you saw from him?
I think Joe's going to be a good player. I really do. And we like Grant too. I think all of our quarterbacks, Jimmy Lockray included, who doesn't really know our offense yet, but we get to work with him on Sundays quite a bit when he's not running the scout team, and I think all those guys have a chance. And I think Joe is, kind of at that point where he just needs to go play in games, which you could see out there. I mean, he did some very good things, and part of his game will be scrambling and running and all that, and ball security is a really hard thing to work on unless you're getting hit, even for our running backs. And we don't hit those guys a ton in practice, but the quarterbacks we usually don't ever hit. So he just needs to play and get more experience.
You left the first team in with Joe by design. How did that go with the first team? Did you want him to have a chance to operate with the first team offense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, like I said, I thought he threw some nice balls and did a really good job. I think the one obviously glaring error was the turnover that he had. And but other than that, I thought he and I hate this word because everybody says manage the offense. But he can do that, and we have obviously a lot on our quarterback's plate. I mean, you almost have to be a perfect SAT guy to even call a play around here, how long they are. I mean, even though they're on a wristband, I mean, there's just a lot of things, and we check some things, and we get out of some things, and make sure everybody's lined up correctly. And And so Joe can do all those things. I mean, he's that far along. So.
You talk about Nevada a little bit. I mean, using two quarterbacks. What stands about those guys to you?
Well, I think that Nevada is obviously a really good program. That's what I think about them. I think they're kind of at that point where they've developed guys and they can put them in and they pick up, and they're not in a rebuilding situation. And I think they play hard. And I know that they'll give us fits like they always do.
They replaced a lot of key players from
Yeah.
last year. Started the season with a tough game at Oregon and
Yeah.
then went to Texas Tech. How did you see them get better from the two?
Yeah, and that's what I really see is those guys getting better, and that's typical of a Nevada team. I think they always get better as the season goes on, and you could really see that from game 1 to game 3. I think the Oregon game was, I think things just started to not go well, and Oregon got off to such a fast start that's what you don't want to happen against Oregon, the way that they play, and for whatever reason it did. But you could see that there's flashes. Even in that game, you're like, hey, these guys, that they're going to get these mistakes corrected, and they have. And I think they're getting better and better every week.
How difficult is it to prepare when one of their quarterbacks is a pocket passer and the other guy's a kind of a read option,
Yeah.
pistol kind of guy? Does that make it difficult?
Same thing. I mean, we kind of had these discussions last week.
Just prepare for the scheme?
You got to. And, because as soon as you start saying this guy's only going to do this, that's when they, throw the pass over your head and all those type of things. And so they kind of run their system, and they probably think one guy does part of it better than the other, and let them have both have a piece of the pie.
How similar is the Fajardo guy to Kaepernick? I mean, obviously nobody's calling, but
Yeah.
does he look like?
Yeah.
running it?
No, I think they're different, and I think Colin was a different type. He was he was just different. I mean, just so long-legged and could look like 5 yards a stride. And, he wasn't the most elusive guy, but speed-wise is as fast as anybody that we certainly played against.
Fajardo's more shifty? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I would say he's a little bit more of the shifty type, and, I think, like I said, Colin's a hard one to categorize.
Matthews last year, big game against you guys. What do you see out of him?
Good player, and we knew he was a good player in junior college. He's a guy that can change the game. He's big time. He's a physical receiver. He's what you want him to be like, because he's physical. He can run with the ball. He can use his body. I mean, he's got all those things.
Did you recruit him at all?
We did. I mean, we were not taking I can't remember. I know we weren't taking a junior college receiver. The numbers didn't call for us to do that, and we certainly looked at him and thought, well, this would be a good player to have if you could get him. But we also didn't, have a scholarship allotted at that position at that time.
I talked to Alt in the offseason, and he mentioned that, you guys play a lot of man against them as part of your, trying to stop the pistol,
Mhm.
and that they just haven't had a receiver that was able to take advantage of it, but maybe before Matthews. Does having a receiver like that sort of change the way you guys have to play him, or is it up to your DBs to stop him?
Well, I think the one thing is we, maybe like to be as multiple as you can and not give any quarterback any one look. And so hopefully we change some things up to keep them a little bit off balance.
You've always been really good at keeping emotions in check in a week like this. How do you do that this week?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Our guys, we're so focused on ourselves and, taking care of the issues that we have and just trying to get better. And so, I mean, I think our guys will be excited to play. Don't get me wrong, because we got a lot of respect for that program, and we know those guys. I don't know how many years now in a row we played them. So, when you get that type of history, and you got respect for them, there'll be excitement in the game. But for the most part, focus is on ourselves.
Coach, you've won, I think, 29 your last 30 games, and that one, blemish is against Nevada. Do you feel like you're going to have a few nightmares staring across the sideline, seeing Chris Salt across there?
Nevada's a good team, and they cause a lot of problems for you. And so, I mean, anytime you're playing a program like that, you got issues, and we're worried about, you know, every game we play. But, you know, certainly Nevada, how hard they play, no question.
What kind of emotion did you have in the first offensive play of the game? I mean, it was there, pass over the top against Tulsa. Tell us about that play and how you felt when you missed.
No different than any play that we miss. I mean, it wasn't, you know, we mix it up, and sometimes we run it, sometimes we throw it, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like game on the line or fourth down and we're faking a field goal and you think you got them dialed up. I mean, receiver got jammed, shouldn't have got jammed, and if he wouldn't have, we probably would have hit a big play, but nothing other than kind of normal flow of the game.
Work.
Yeah.
When you miss a play like maybe the Burrows pass, which is a special play, you're probably not going to be able to run it again.
We got a lot more of those. Not even worried about that.
You know, it doesn't, you know, you probably spend a lot of time, or at least some time, working on it.
Yeah, but not more than a lot of other stuff. I mean, those kids pick those things up quickly when they're doing something different, and so, you know, we've done all kinds of stuff like that, and that's just, if it hits, you know, obviously we want every play to hit, but when it doesn't, you know, it's something that other teams are going to have to defend.
Does your team have a mindset that maybe Nevada is a rival, especially with the absence of Idaho on the schedule this year?
I think we got a lot of rivals. I mean, anybody that, and then in the following week it's going to be Fresno, and you know, and that'll be, and then down the road, because we played TCU a bit, that'll be, you know, everybody's going to make that a rivalry. And I think when you have hard-fought games against, you know, good opponents and you play them on a regular basis, everybody thinks, you know, considers those your rivals.
You talk about their defensive I think it's tackle. Brett Royce,
Yep.
my big year last year, sort of got lost in the shuffle and all whack, and then he's off to a great start again.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's played for him, I can't remember how many years, but we certainly knew about him last year, made a lot of plays. I think that D-line plays very hard. I think their whole defense plays hard, and but I think it's, you know, those defensive linemen are in there twisting and moving and stemming and doing a lot of different things that make it difficult on you.
Talk about, you said you guys are focusing on yourselves, the kicking game. You know, how would you kind of assess after this past week, you know, something you guys were focused on last week, where things are with that?
Yeah. What part of the kicking game are you talking about?
Well, extra points. I mean, you hadn't kicked
Extra
any field,
points? Because we're good in the kicking game in terms of return and kickoffs
Yeah,
and punting.
kicking,
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, we're working on extra points. We hope we don't miss any this game.
Is Hunter going to stay in Boulder?
Yeah, I think Hunter's, you know, we've liked Hunter for the past really 3 years, and he's done holding in the past in high school. Really wanted to be it in the past and probably could have been, but our concern was just that he plays at such a physical position. We didn't want to have a chance to lose our holder, but I think the situation that we're in, we got to make sure that the kickers are as comfortable as they can be, and I think right now, I think Hunter did a good job holding.
What do they like about Hunter? I mean, what goes into somebody being good?
I think how quick he gets the ball down and that he can, you know, move the laces quickly and those type of things. And he's pretty consistent regardless of where the snap is.
It seems like everything, you know, college football has gotten so big. You have a coach for everything, or you can, you know, throw resources at almost anything.
Right.
Nobody seems to have a kick